Mic test. There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is an incredibly exciting day. It is the finale of Division 1 Season 8 in ESRL. We've got Robin Brain going straight to pole with a 107.7, but Lewis Jones immediately beats him with a 106.8, a huge lap from Lewis Jones, as we might expect. Plenty of others on lap. Tark and Gino going to P3. But it's the main two we're watching. CPI Finley in the McLaren and Clemo in the Mercedes as they battle for this season's ESRL title, the coveted title of this division. They head into this round separated by just 2 points, with Clemo that little bit ahead, and we'll see if that comes into play today. But I'm sure this is going to be some race, some finale to what has been a very strong season. Finley has invalidated both of his first 2 attempts at a lap, so he's definitely going to have to try a lot better than that if he wants to qualify higher up the grid. At the moment, Lewis Jones taking that top spot, but Stephen Vasso is going to try and take it off him. He's going to use that DRS all the way down the long straight to the line, but actually he's going again, Stephen Vasso. He's nowhere near his best, so he's going to have another go at it. We've got Scott coming to the line in the Alpine. He does a 108.0. Not a bad lap at all from Scott. Beats out Jacko by some margin and only a few tenths away from Robin Brain. We've got Finley. Is he going to go for another attempt? I imagine so. Trugster coming through as well in the other McLaren, as McLaren look to see out the Constructors' title. Hello to Rick in the chat, by the way. McLaren currently 28 points ahead of Mercedes in the Constructors. It is still technically possible for Mercedes to win it, but McLaren are going to look to see this out as Trugster goes to P2, 7.5 tenths up or down on Lewis Jones, but very strong opening lap from Trugster in the other McLaren as he looks to help his teammate to secure that Constructors' Championship. I'm pretty sure it would be Trugster's first ESRL title if they manage to win the Constructors. Goes preparing 57 bottles of water. I do have a very large glass of water in front of me, so you're not entirely wrong. As Finley did head back into the pits. Mahmood going out on mediums at the moment. Got Johnny Stokes on an out lap, but Clemo's still in the pits, interestingly. I wonder if he's going to go for only 2 laps on the softs, and he is going to save a set for the race. I imagine that seems likely based on what we're seeing. Zoxerus, though, his teammate, going for his next attempt, 8.5 seconds down. So that's clearly not a competitive lap time yet, but we'll see as he goes through the session. Reshka, by the way, beat Scott to P4 on his second run, as I think that was Tarkangino improving to P7. No, it was Robin Brain improving, to P2, just ahead of Trugster. As Zoxerus heads through that middle sector now. Very tricky part of the circuit. What a track this is, by the way. Absolutely fantastic circuit for racing, and just in general the setting as well of this circuit is beautiful. Yeah, it's going to be tricky for the drivers to get to grips with things. It can be tough, this circuit, especially over one lap. So every single corner counts. A small mistake can ruin your entire lap because of how short the circuit is, as Zoxerus goes to P6 for now, the German. He had a good driver of the day, and he'll be looking to do similarly again today. He's going to have to do the best he can possibly do to try and secure Mercedes that Constructors' Championship. Hello to Speed in the chat. Yeah, no weather update from Speed today. He is not on track, sadly, but indeed, what a track this is. Speed, in particular, he loves this circuit. He always runs well around here, and it is a real shame that he can't make it today as Johnny Stokes goes to P3 in his V-Carb, and Finley invalidates again in Sector 1. Goodness me, he is really struggling at the moment to get a lap on the board. Both he and Clemo currently drawing a blank, although Clemo's been sat in the pits this whole time, which really is surprising. Surely he's just saving a set of softs. I really hope he doesn't stay in the pits the whole session, because that would be very underwhelming, I have to say. But Lewis Jones improves on his already dominant pole time, the 106.7 in his Haas. Let's see what Stephen Vasso has to say about that, though, as he heads through Sector 1. He hasn't yet set a competitive lap time, but neither has Finley, neither has Clemo. So the big hitters, or most of the big hitters, yet to set a lap in this session so far. Stephen Vasso heading through. He's got his teammate for today, Val Wood, ahead of him. I haven't seen Val Wood before, so good to see a newbie to ESRL. Best of luck to him. He's got to start off by making sure he doesn't block his teammate's lap here, as Stephen Vasso heads through the latter part of the final of the second sector. Valwood duly gets out of the way, very nicely done, as Stephen Vasso comes to the final braking zone. Nicely done there from the Kick Sauber driver today, and he heads through the last few corners all flat out to the line, and Stephen Vasso sets the new pole time, a 106.711, just ahead of his NLR teammate Lewis Jones, as Finley heads back into the pits again, still not able to set a lap. It's starting to become crunch time for Finley. He's used 2 sets of tyres trying to get a lap, presumably, and he has still not gotten one. So the pressure is on now for the McLaren driver, who sits just 2 points behind this man, Clemo, who is the championship leader heading into this finale. It is so close. They've been at each other's throats all season long. Well, no, that's the wrong analogy. They've been very close together. At each other's throats implies they've been that they've been bickering, but no, there's been none of that. It's been very respectful. It's been a great championship battle, and both would be very deserving and worthy winners. Let me see. Who am I supporting tonight, Clemo or Finley, or being neutral? I am being very neutral on this broadcast, Speed. Very neutral indeed. I think both of them would fully deserve the title should they win it. So that's all. That's going to be all I say on the matter. Clemo 17.5 through Sector 1. As he heads through the middle sector now. What a start to the season he had, Clemo. In the first half of this season, he looked completely undrivable. There was no one in his vicinity. He was consistent at every single circuit. Then he had that a little bit of a drop-off, as you usually do in a championship setting over the course of as many races as we do. He just had a little bit of an off period, and also had to miss a race, and that allowed Finley back into the title battle. Finley took the lead of the championship before last week, but Clemo snatched it back. He wrestled it back from Finley in that chaotic race, as Clemo goes to P5, a 107.6. It's 9 thousandths behind Johnny Stokes, but he'll be hoping for the second row at the very least, Clemo. And I absolutely agree with Speed that Clemo is one of the most improved drivers in this league. It's been fantastic to see. Tom Roberts joins in as well. Last week's race winner, sort of by default, after Luca Rapasso kind of took out every single other driver to let Tom Roberts win, but it was nonetheless a great drive from Roberts in the well, he wasn't in the Ferrari last week, but in the Ferrari this week, as more drivers come across the line. But I'm going to keep an eye on CPI Finley. Zoxerus went to P4, so that pushes Clemo down another position. Clemo desperately needs to find another couple tenths before the end of this session. You would have to think at least... Oh my my goodness me. He is having a horrible qualifying session right now. That was looking like a very strong lap as well. And yet again, final braking zone, final corner where you can invalidate, and Finley invalidates. And he is going to be so frustrated in that cockpit. Yes, through Sector 1, that's much better, but still no invalidation. Maybe a bit of nerves, maybe Speed is right in the chat. It could be some nerves for Finley, the now two-time APP F1 champion. He won both Tier 1 and Elite in APP this season that's just gone. Only the third driver ever to do the double in that league. And he's hoping to make it 3 championships in just over a week today, but he's going to need to bring his A game for sure. But Clemo, quite a way down. He's going to need a lot more time than that, is the German. But Finley now coming to the last braking zone. 52.4 in the middle sector. Doesn't invalidate this time. Took it a lot safer. But is he running out of fuel? Is he going to be forced to head into pits? He's not using ERS. He has to come back into the pits. He still cannot get a lap on the board. And Finley is fast running out of time here. There's not long to go in this session at all. As Marmou comes to the last braking zone. 4 minutes to go for Finley to get a lap on the board. He is really struggling. Certainly could be some nerves involved in a championship finale. Johnny Stokes, the season 6 champion, goes to P3, and I think I'm even more justified in calling him the season 6 champion after what happened last week. And I will continue to do so. But yeah, Finley going to have one more shot at it, maybe two. Yeah, he's going to have one more, I would think. One more go. Maybe another one if he invalidates again, but it won't be on the most ideal tyres. And he is in a lot of trouble here, is Finley. His teammate, meanwhile, 1.5 tenths up in the first sector. His Truckster heads through turn 4 and all the way up the hill towards turn 6. If I ever take a pause, I am drinking water, by the way, just so you all know. Truckster coming through the middle sector now. That looked a little bit dicey through turn 8 there, as he now heads through the last few corners of the circuit, flat out through turn 11, and now 2 tenths up for the McLaren driver as he looks to get himself onto the second row. It was a nice final braking zone as well from Truckster. He heads all the way down to the line. Finley back out on an outlap, but only 2 minutes 40 to go. He is going to be really pushing it as Truckster does manage to put it into P3. What a lap from the McLaren driver. He'll be absolutely delighted with that. The NLR duo is still a long way ahead of the rest of the field at the moment, but Finley desperately needs to find something as he heads through the final corner now. 2 minutes to go in the session. He will get 2 more attempts maximum, but he's already had at least 4 attempts. He's invalidated all of them, and now he heads towards turn 1. It's really crunch time now for CPI Finley. Through turn 1, chucks the car in, and oh my goodness, how did he not invalidate through turn 2? I thought for sure when he turned in that was going to be lap over, but no, he stays, the track stays black on the minimap, and Clemo is remaining in the pits. No, never mind, he's on an outlap. Okay, finally, finally, the championship leader heads out for his next attempt, and it's going to be his last attempt. There's no more time left in this session, so Finley, we'll keep an eye on him as he heads through the middle sector. Stephen Vasso improves again, but very marginally. Gets into the 106.6s, but it was maybe 100th of a second, if that he improved by. So Lewis Jones has a real opportunity to snatch pole back off him. Remember, Finley invalidated at this corner on his last attempt. Doesn't do it this time. Manages to stay within the white lines. And finally, a lap is going to go onto the board for the McLaren driver. What kind of lap is it going to be, though? He's going to get a beautiful toe off the Ferrari in front, and he goes to second place. It's a huge pressure lap from Finley, but he did get a massive toe from the Ferrari of Tom Roberts in front of him. So I'm pretty sure that wasn't intentional. It was just pure luck for Finley there. He gets himself onto the front row as Clemo now heads down towards turn 4. A little bit of a tow from the McLaren ahead. I think that was Finley's car as he heads through turn 1. A tenth up already for the championship leader. What can he do through the middle sector though? This is where laps can be made or broken on this circuit. As more laps coming in, up ahead, Valwood coming through, but he's invalidated. The other kick-sauber of Stephen Vasso, he's going to have one more attempt, but he's got no ERS left. Surely no improvement to come from him. Lewis Jones has one more attempt as well, but where is Clemo? Here he is, P8. He goes through Sector 2. Is he improving at the sector line? 2 tenths up. This is what he needs, but he needs a little bit more to get himself onto that second row. That is going to be what he's hoping for. He doesn't want to be more than a few positions behind Finley. Tom Roberts goes to P4. Clemo's going to get a beautiful tow from Zoxerus. Great teamwork from the Mercedes duo, and it works out perfectly. Clemo gets himself into 5th place. A huge lap from the championship leader right when he needed it. Great teamwork from the Mercedes duo as well, as Zoxerus sacrifices his lap to help out Clemo. As Johnny Stokes comes through the last few corners as well. Reshka stays P10, 2/10 improvement though. Johnny Stokes goes to 5th place, displaces Clemo, crucially perhaps, as Lewis Jones looks like he's going to take pole position right at the end here. Stephen Vasso not improving. The Haas driver comes down to the line, and it's going to be pole position for NLR Lewis Jones by over a tenth from Stephen Vasso in the end. Finley has to settle for 3rd. But he will be happy. He is 3 positions ahead of Clemo, thanks to the German getting knocked down by the Season 6 champion right at the end there. So Clemo is going to have to perform some serious heroics now in this race in order to win this title, because Finley is now in prime position. 3rd place in this race. He is looking like he is part of those front runners who are going to be a long way ahead of Clemo, or a long way ahead of at least Johnny Stokes for pace, you would think, but it is easy to follow around here in Brazil. You can get long DRS trains, so Clemo is going to give himself plenty of chances nonetheless. Yeah, fair enough, Rick. Fair enough. Great pressure lap from Finley, and best Clemo could do, says Speed. Yeah, pretty much, but I think Clemo will be disappointed that he couldn't get into the top 5 there, just beaten by Johnny Stokes in the end. But it's Lewis Jones on pole position from Stephen Vasso alongside him. Then it is Finley. He's put himself in a great position after a really tricky qualifying session for him. Tom Roberts on the second row with him. Then it's Johnny Stokes. Then it's Clemo in P6. He needs something special today. Robin Brain, Trugster, Zoxerus, Reshka, Jacko, Scott, Mahmood, Valwood, and Tarkangino make up the rest of the grid. Those battles for the lower end of the points are going to be interesting as well. All those cars look very, very close. I do apologise. I'll turn my phone on silent so you don't get all the buzzing. But yeah, this is going to be absolutely fascinating. Looking dry for now. We'll see if it stays that way. Rick not a fan of Jack Alaka in the chat, clearly. That, by the way. So, chat. Who do you think is going to win this title? Are you backing Clemo or are you backing Finley? Oh, Waffcake, hello. How are you doing, Waffcake? Great to see you in chat. I know this is a bit of whiplash from my usual content on Twitch. But yeah, this is kind of my dual content, my two demographics. This is the second one with F1 racing, but it's fantastic. It's a brilliant championship finale that awaits us. We have two drivers within 2 points of each other. And we're here at this beautiful circuit in Brazil. Speed wants Clemo to win, but he thinks it's really 50-50. Rick wants Finley to win to rep APPF1 as the lights go on. And 5 lights are out. We're underway for the Brazilian GP, the season finale of ESRL Season 8. Clemo to the inside of Johnny Stokes and trying to get past on... great if I can speak. Trying to get past Tom Roberts as well. He goes down the inside for turn 3. They're going to be side by side all the way down towards turn 4, but the Ferrari's using plenty of ERS. Stephen Vasso putting Finley under pressure up ahead as well. Finley goes deep into turn 4 and loses that position as Clemo gets back or loses that place back to Trugster after getting past him into turn 1. He'll be frustrated in that cockpit to lose that position, but he stays in P6 for now. And Trugster up 2 positions, no, up 3 positions. What a start from the McLaren driver as Clemo is pegged back down. Oh my goodness me, goes for a lunge into turn 9. That could have been a disaster for the Mercedes driver, but he just about gets away with it. That could have been so close to his championship ending just like that. But it's Lewis Jones who leads the way from Stephen Vasso, and then it's Finley in 3rd place. Tom Roberts follows along with Trugster down in, well, up to P5 now from P8 on the grid. Lewis Jones at the front though as Clemo tries to follow along. He's got to make sure he stays with these guys. That is the crucial thing for the championship leader. He is losing quite a bit of time at the moment, but as long as he stays in DRS, he should be fine. Stephen Vasso goes back to the front of the field though, and he passed Lewis Jones fairly simply. DRS pass into turn 4. And as everyone heads through the second sector, still close together for now. Goes to appealing to multiple audiences, yes. Strategy will be key, however there'll be a massive DRS drain for most of the race, says Speed. Whoever is most consistent and stays out of trouble will benefit very much. Yes, indeed, you're absolutely right, Speed. And, well, Clemo looks like he's struggling to stay in that DRS train at the moment. Wolfcake, I'm good. Not quite sure what's going on, but having a good time. I'm so glad to hear that, Wolfcake. Great to have you here. I'll try and explain some things as the race goes on if I can. But there is a championship finale going on, so mostly going to be focused on anything that happens like this. Finley looking to the inside of Lewis Jones into turn 1. He doesn't quite go for it. And spats out of it. He knows the championship is on the line. It's not a good idea to make any risky moves that you don't need to. And he just stays behind for now as Clemo continues to struggle to stay in that 1 second range of the cars ahead. Trugster looks very quick around this circuit at the moment. He is challenging those top 4 very closely. They are all starting on hards. Or, well, at least most of the front ones are starting on hards. That will explain why Trugster's so fast to begin with. He has started on the soft tyres. So, Wolfcake, for your sake, and anyone else who's watching who doesn't know how F1 works, it's hard tyres. Or you can have anything from soft to hard tyres. So the soft tyres have these red sidelines on them, as you can see from going past. Those are the fastest tyres, but they wear out the fastest as well. So he will have to come in for new tyres before everyone else does. The hard tyres, they're not as quick as Finley goes to the inside of Lewis Jones into turn 1. He can't quite get the move done, but he stays behind for now as they head down towards turn 4. He is really pushing for that overtake as Finley, but he could leave himself vulnerable to Tom Roberts behind. Tom Roberts lunges to the inside, but has to back out. And Clemo just about continuing to stay in this DRS train, crucially for him. But yes, as I was saying, the medium tyres, these yellow ones, they have, well, do what they say on the tin as Tom Roberts looks for a lunge. They will last a medium distance, but they will also have medium pace. and then the hard tyres will have the slowest pace, but they will last the longest. So that's the difference between the tyres. A lot of the in-depth stuff on strategy I won't get too much into as to why they're picking certain tyres, but just so you know, that is what's happening. But as you say, Speed, the grid is so close after these 5 laps, but Johnny Stokes, Robin Brain struggling to stay in that front DRS train as Lewis Jones goes to the front of the field. Finley sticks behind them, and Tom Roberts there in P4 as Trugster follows along on his soft tyres, but surely those softs are going to be struggling before long as everyone heads down towards turn 4 for the 5th time in this race. Stephen Vasser retakes the lead from Lewis Jones. And I keep talking about DRS again for the sake of those who don't know what I'm talking about. If you're within 1 second of the car ahead at certain straights, you can open up your rear wing. There's a flap on the rear wing that opens up if you're within 1 second of the car ahead, and it gives you a massive speed boost of sorts on the straight. So it is crucial to stay within that 1 second range of the car ahead, and Clemo knows now he needs to get past Trugster. Those soft tyres are going to be fading fast, and Clemo knows it's now or never. Trugster with a mistake out of turn 13, and here comes the Mercedes driver. Looks to the outside line. He needs to clear this McLaren now, or else he will run the risk of losing DRS to the top 4. He looks to the outside, but Trugster is not letting him go easily. Clemo brakes late. Trugster brakes even later, makes contact with the championship leader, but they both get away with it. But Clemo's now 1.2 seconds behind. Trugster is going to have the DRS. You see that rear wing flap open. Here comes the McLaren. He's going to have added pace, but it's not quite enough to make a move. Clemo stays in 5th place, but Trugster has cost him so much time and so much ERS as well. That's the energy that they can deploy over the course of a lap, but they only have so much of it, and Clemo has been cost there by Trugster. The McLaren driver has really played a bit of a spoiler effect so far in this championship finale. Clemo is now 1.5 seconds behind. There's no way, surely he is going to be able to catch back up. Trugster's going to have the DRS as well, so he's going to perhaps have another move into turn 1. He looks like he's pretty quick on the straights today, the McLaren. As Trugster comes through the final corner, he's going to have the DRS, but I think he's too far behind to make a lunge on the Mercedes into turn 1. Yeah, he's way too far behind as Lewis Jones now retakes the lead of this race. And Clemo staying in P5, but 2.2 seconds behind. That DRS is just going to allow those guys ahead to pull further and further in front as Johnny Stokes gets past the McLaren. Trugster making a big mistake there through turn 3 as here comes Robin Brain, or here comes Reshka rather, down the inside of the Red Bull. Gets that move done into turn 4. It's a lovely move from the British driver. He's up to P8 on his medium tyres, and he'll probably be going mediums to hards in this race. But we shall see if anyone else goes on the softs. I noticed Scott started on them as well. And most of the rear gunners of this grid starting on the mediums, but a huge gap now forming between Clemo and the rest of that top 4. He is going to be so frustrated at how much time Trugster has cost him here. Trugster could well, if we don't get a safety car in this race, and this is how things go, Trugster could well have just single-handedly decided this championship. Who knows? Johnny Stokes now right behind Clemo, and he's going to be making a move on the Mercedes. Look at the straight line speed from the VCARB driver. He heads to the inside. He makes the move stick. And Johnny Stokes up to 5th place. Clemo now down to P6. He's going to need a lot more than that. He needs to finish really ahead of Finley to get this championship. Finley battling ahead with other cars, but Johnny Stokes pulls out the slipstream and Clemo stays behind. And Speed is absolutely right. Clemo just has to keep his head down, wait for another opportunity to arise, and just hope that it does. And this it could well do, as Tom Roberts looks to the inside of Finley through turn 5. He doesn't quite get it done, but as they head through the next few corners, Finley stays ahead, and he's still putting the pressure on the NLR duo. He is right behind that Haas, practically pushing Lewis Jones through the corner. As they now head to the last braking zone on this circuit, still locked together, this top 4. It is fantastic to watch. Clemo's now going to have, surely, this move on Johnny Stokes down to turn 1. But we've got to keep an eye on this top 4 because Tom Roberts is right behind CPI Finley. He's going to look to the outside, look to the inside. He goes for it into turn 1, but I think a little half-hearted there from the Ferrari, and Finley stays ahead. Clemo gets the move done on Johnny Stokes. Meanwhile, he's up into 5th place once again, but 3 seconds behind those top 4. He desperately really needs them to battle hard if he wants to get himself back into this race. But at the moment, he is looking well down on where he needs to be. There's still nose to tail. There's overtakes happening further down. Meanwhile, Reshka's up to P7 in his Williams. Zoxerus sends one down the inside of turn 7. Goodness me, that was unexpected from the Mercedes driver. He's now on the outside for turn 8. What a move from the German. And Zoxerus, Reshka breaks too late, puts himself on the grass and spins it round. And, well, you have to say, Zoxerus put his car there. There was Reshka just tried to be a bit too brave on the outside. It has not paid off, and he's all the way down to 14th. But Zoxerus, he built a reputation in his first season in ESRL. Well, I'll come back to that thought, because Finley and Tom Roberts side by side through the first sector. There's Tom Roberts on the inside for turn 3. He's going to get that move done on CPI Finley, who's now down to 4th place, but he's still right where he needs to be. Clemo's in P5, but if it ended like this, then Finley would be 2 points to the good on Clemo in this race, and he would win the title on count back. And count back means that they would have the same number has won the most races, and Finley has won the most races this season. So if it went to count back, Finley would win this title, and at the moment, if it ended like this, that is exactly what would happen. That is how this brilliant season would end. It would be heart-wrenching for Clemo, but Finley at the moment is doing enough to secure that title. Mistake from Robin Brain through the last braking zone there. And Zoxerus surely going to get this move done. Like I said, in his first season, he built himself a reputation very quickly of being one of the best and bravest overtakers on the grid, and we saw it there with Reshka. That was absolutely phenomenal from Zoxerus in that Mercedes. He's now up to P7 as he continues to climb his way through the grid, but now 2.5 seconds between himself and the duo of Clemo and Johnny Stokes. So Zoxerus might be, for now at least, in the best position he can be. The top 2 going to battle. There's more contact as they head through turn 5, but they just about get away with it. Stephen Vasso leads, but Lewis Jones, Tom Roberts and Finley very close to taking all of each other out there as they head through the middle sector. Tom Roberts down the inside of Lewis Jones. He doesn't make the move on this occasion, though. He stays behind, and they continue to go through into the final sector now for the 11th time. And Finley at the back of this train. Trugster has boxed, yes, good call speed as Tarkan Gino has made a mistake. He has spun there through turn 11, sadly. But yes, Trugster onto the hard tyres. Presumably they will be until the end of the race. So speed is absolutely right. Clemo will probably need to have to pass him again when he comes into the pits as well. Robin Brain with a track limits penalty. I think Zoxerus got one as well as Tom Roberts sweeps to the inside of Lewis Jones into turn 4. It's a beautiful move from the Ferrari driver. Finley's going to try and follow them all the way up the hill. He can't quite get it done though. And those top 4 continue to battle. Finley looks to the inside of Jones. He doesn't quite get the move done. He has to stay behind. And Johnny Stokes meanwhile and Clemo swapping positions again. And, well, Speed's absolutely right that Finley's in a precarious position in terms of what could happen. There could be some contact and that would immediately send him round with all these 4 cars battling so close together. But at the same time, he's where he needs to be. He is exactly where he needs to be to win this title. He doesn't need any more than this, so I think he'll be perfectly happy to be 4 seconds ahead of Clemo. But yeah, like Speed says, probably not too happy to be in the mix of such a fierce battle as what we're seeing. And yeah, Rick's absolutely right in the chat as well. Finley just needs to stay calm, stay behind them, and he will win this championship as it stands. Tarkangino also into the pit lane. That will be for fresh, hard tyres, I assume. But we've got yellow flags. Who is that? That's Robin Brain, who's gone round at turn 4. Scott's still out on track on soft tyres. I don't know how on earth he is keeping those tyres going, but he is. Robin Brain is down to P10. It's been not the greatest start for him so far. He's got huge front wing damage as well, missing both end plates on that front wing, so he is going to be a lot slower through this middle part of the circuit, and surely an early pit stop for the Red Bull driver. That is a huge shame for him, as Lewis Jones and Tom Roberts go to battle again. Finley's just behind, watching it all happen. He knows he doesn't want to challenge them. He just wants to stick behind them. They go side by side through turns 1 and 2. More contact as they head through 3. Still more wheel banging. Tom Roberts on the inside though as they head down towards 4. And Lewis Jones can't really do anything. The Ferrari's got too much overspeed and he gets ahead with Finley just sticking behind. 5.5 seconds is the gap to Clemo. That is exactly what Finley needs to be doing. Oh my goodness me. He heads to the inside of turn 5. Can he make a double move, Finley? No, he backs out of it. But he's still going for it on Lewis Jones at least. That is so surprising. I thought he'd play this very safe, but no, Finley is out for blood today and he goes around the outside of Lewis Jones. What a move from the McLaren driver, and he's looking to win this championship in style today, not just by default. Even with Clemo 5 seconds behind and Johnny Stokes now struggling to keep up with the championship leader, Finley is out for blood. He's got the ERS and DRS on the Ferrari ahead, but I don't think he's close enough to make a move. Tom Roberts using plenty of his own energy too. And Finley is up to 3rd place. Rick lamenting that Finley is taking the risks when he doesn't need to. But Finley racing his own race here. He wants to win this title in style. He doesn't want to leave anything to chance. And well, he's battling hard with these other 3, despite the circumstances. Clemo, meanwhile, 5.5 seconds behind now. He desperately needs some miracles to happen. He needs a safety car. He needs something in order to win this title, as Jack Alaco gets down the inside of Valwood for P10. And he is now into the points. It is points for the top 10 in ESRL. 1 point for 10th, then it's 2, 4, 6, then it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18 and 25 points for the win. So as you can see, Finley currently gaining 4 points on Clemo, which would be more than enough to secure the title. Maybe he can get even more points. He goes down the inside of both Tom Roberts and Stephen Vasso. Finley going for the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and he gets it. What a move from Finley. He is into the lead of this race, but he is going to be so vulnerable on the run to turn 4. Stephen Vasso comes back at him, but no, he stays behind. He's going to have the DRS for turn 1 instead. And Finley now into the lead of this race with all of the other 3 reserve drivers behind him. Clemo in 5th place, a distant 5th place, just trying to hold on, be as close as possible just in case anything happens. If we have a safety car, or if they come to blows up ahead and one of them spins, he wants to be as close as possible to give himself the best possible chance of winning this race, or well, of winning this championship. He doesn't need to win the race, he just needs to finish ahead of Finley. Rashka comes out of the pits, as does Scott. Finally, Scott onto the medium tyres, presumably to the end. I don't think he's going to be doing a 2-stop. So a bold strategy from Scott as Stephen Vasso retakes the lead. Finley under pressure from Lewis Jones now on the inside of turn 1. And Finley, oh, he keeps his nose in there through turn 2. I don't know how he didn't make contact with the Haas, but they get through cleanly. And Finley just behind now. Tom Roberts in the midst, but he's not going to make a move. There's Finley or Clemo in the background, in the distance, just having to watch and wait and see if anything happens. Johnny Stokes just about staying with the Mercedes driver, but really struggling now. I think there's definitely a raw pace differential between the two of them. But at the moment, Johnny Stokes doing just enough. As Jackalacco also comes into the pits. Not sure why we're getting a view of the garage from the camera here. But anyway, out he comes in P12. And he's just ahead of his teammate as the two Williams continue their little on-track battle. The last one of this season. They've been a good pair, Jacko and Reshka. And this will be their last battle as teammates, at least for some time, until ESRL resumes for the new game in a few months' time. Meanwhile, though, Finley still on the back of these two NLR drivers. He was pushing Lewis Jones through turn 1 again, but I don't think he's going to be able to make a move. Tom Roberts isn't close enough either, and they continue to go single file through turn 4, and now all the way up the hill they go. Finley right behind that Haas driver. But once again, he has to stay behind. He is pushing Lewis Jones all the way up the hill. But not able to do anything. And Tom Roberts now down the inside of turn 7. He can't quite make a move either. But he flicks it to the inside. He locks the rear tyres. Hits the side of the McLaren. And they continue to go side by side through the next few corners as well. But Tom Roberts has to go behind in the end. And he breaks in single file just before they come to the last braking zone. Robin Brain has retired in the pits, so he will take no further place in this race as the top 4 continue to stay out. Speed says they should be into the pits soon, but no sign yet from those top 4 of coming in. Clemo 5.5 seconds behind still. That gap has remained relatively stable because of all these battles that have been happening. Lewis Jones retaking the lead meanwhile from Vasso as they head through turn 4. Speed is devastated about his teammate retiring in the pit lane, so that'll be no points for Red Bull today. But Valwood now also into the pits. He's having a decent time out there on debut so far, so wishing him all the best on a debut race. But he goes into the soft tyres, so that is definitely going to be a 2-stop for the Sauber driver. I don't know if that is going to work for him, but he's going to give it his best shot. Robin says it's a poor race from him in the chat. That's a real shame, Robin. But at least you gave it your all in this finale, and best of luck for next season, as now Lewis Jones leads the way again down to turn 1. I think they're going to swap again though, these two. Absolutely they are. Finley down in P3, and these two are back to swapping again, very calmly, very nonchalantly, and Clemo takes the initiative. He is into the pits, the championship leader. It's going to be medium tyres presumably all the way to the end. There we go. There's yellow walled medium tyres going on the Mercedes, so he's trying to get a bit of an undercut here. That is the strategy of coming in before your rivals, so that you can get the better tyres on and you can do a lap or two on those better tyres before everyone else has to come in and gain some time. But Finley down the inside of Lewis Jones goes for a lunge into turn 5. He has to back out in the end, but both of them lost the rears as they headed through. They're still side by side through the next few corners. Stephen Vasso is building a gap as a result of all of this, but Finley again, he has to back out just before the corner. But he is really pushing hard to get past this Haas. Is there going to be a pit stop to respond to Clemo coming in now? Finley looks to the inside. No pit stop from Finley. He's happy where he is. So Clemo using that undercut to full effect as Tom Roberts looks for a lunge to the inside. Finley brakes far too late, locks the front tyres, and Tom Roberts tries to get back ahead of him, but he can't quite do it. He has to stay behind. Finley still in the DRS range, crucially, from the top two. That is all he needs to do, but Finley taking so many risks when he really doesn't need to here to win this title. Clemo is 3 seconds behind Mahmoud, so he is going to come up to that Aston Martin, and he will have to overtake at some point, presumably if Mahmoud doesn't come into the pits soon-ish. I'm surprised he stayed out this long, Mahmoud, but on he goes. I wonder if he's going to the soft tyres to the end at some point. In which case Clemo will definitely have to overtake him, and he'll have to do it without losing too much time. This undercut working out so far for Clemo, but he's going to need a lot more than that. As the top two go to battle, Steven Vasso loses the rears through the final corner, but actually no, it's a bit of lag. He teleports straight back in front. He is lagging all over the place at the moment, the race leader. All of the top four actually, all coming into the pits. None of them in the same team, so no double stacks. And Zoxyrus comes through. Is he going to stay out? He absolutely is. I think I see what's going on here. Zoxyrus is going to try and hold up the rest of them to try and help Clemo to catch back up. Clemo's coming up to the back of this Aston Martin now. Mahmoud blissfully, for the Mercedes driver, comes into the pits, and Clemo setting the fastest lap as he surges down to turn one. Where's Steven Vasso? He's coming out the pits now. Clemo's going through turn three. He's going to be right behind them, but he's not close enough. He can see them in the distance, but he's only gained about 3 seconds. It's not quite enough to get back in the DRS range, and he will be frustrated with that. That was his best chance to get back into this race, and it just hasn't quite worked. But Zoxyrus now is 6.5 seconds behind, and he is going to try and play the team game here. These are the kind of shenanigans you want to see in a championship finale. This is exactly what we love to see. Zoxyrus now is going to try his absolute best to hold up the cars behind as much as he can to try and help Clemo catch back up. Steven Vasso, I've no idea where his car is. He is lagging all over the place right now, so take his position changes for granted. There you go, he teleports back in front, and this could cause some discord between these top four. Finley now looking to the inside of Lewis Jones. He backs out of it though. Clemo with another fastest lap in his Mercedes, but he's already 3 seconds behind Tom Roberts now as Vasso lags again, teleports back in front for the umpteenth time. He's going to continue doing that, and this could cause some discord and some confusion with these top four. Maybe slow them down a bit, maybe allow Clemo back into the battle, but Clemo, he just hasn't quite done enough with that undercut. But he did the best he could. He couldn't really come in earlier because then the mediums will be awful in the last few laps, just when you need them. But he wanted to go for that undercut. It nearly worked. He gained a huge amount of time, but it wasn't quite enough, and he's going to need a miracle. He's going to need some good luck to come his way now in order to win this title, you would have to think. Zoxyrus now only 2.5 seconds ahead. So here we go. Maybe this is the blessing that Clemo needs. His teammate might be able to help him out here as these top four continue to go to battle. Finley down the inside of Steven Vasso. There's contact as they head through turn one. No damage to the looks of things to Finley's car, but they are... As they head through the first sector, it's Lewis Jones who leads the train, followed by Vasso. Finley right behind, and Tom Roberts there as well. But now Zoxyrus 1.5 seconds behind, or 1.5 seconds ahead, and that Mercedes car is coming up very quickly to these four. Zoxyrus though, he's got to time this right, otherwise they're all going to breeze past him with the DRS on the next straight. The only car he needs to hold up is Finley technically, but he's going to want to hold up all four of them. And this is going to be mighty close. This is the crucial part of this race. Can Zoxyrus hold Finley behind, or is he going to get past very easily down to turn 1? Thank you so much for dropping in, Waffcake. It was brilliant to see you. I hope you enjoyed your time watching F1, presumably for the first time. Zoxyrus gets passed by both NLR drivers, but Finley is still behind. He looks for a dive bomb into turn 1 from far back, but he doesn't make it work. He gets a penalty, 3-second penalty to Finley after Zoxyrus holds him up, and Zoxyrus has done a brilliant job already, but at the moment it's still not enough. He needs to hold up that McLaren even more. Finley right behind as they head up the hill. He's surely going to go for a dive bomb, but he's got nothing left in terms of his ERS recovery system. They head up the hill. Zoxyrus still ahead on those awful hard tyres. Finley pulls to the inside. He goes for the lunge, and Zoxyrus can't do anything to keep him behind. He tries to head down the inside of the next corner, but he has to back out, and that is that. For Zoxyrus, he did everything he could. He forced Finley to get a track limits penalty, and he has gotten Finley out the DRS of the top 2, so it could still have been a huge amount that Zoxyrus has done there. It's about just over 4 seconds between Clammo and Finley. He needs some more. Finley has a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Tom Roberts to the inside of the McLaren driver as he tries to get back with the top 2. He doesn't care about what the championship implications are. He just wants to have a chance to win this race, but if he does manage to catch back up to the top 2, Finley will be there as well, and he will be saved from this difficult situation that Zoxyrus has put him in. As you say in the chat, brilliant teamwork from the Mercedes duo, especially from Zoxyrus. He's done everything he possibly could to keep this championship finale interesting, and he's done exactly that. Tom Roberts, though, pushing hard to get back in range of the top 2. He's doing exactly that. 1.1 seconds now from 1.5 at the start of the lap. Lewis Jones has to stick behind his NLR teammate, and here comes Tom Roberts. I don't think he's going to be quite in range. It is going to be close. The detection point just after this corner. Tom Roberts gives it everything through the final corner, but he's not close enough. He loses the DRS, and now Finley is going to be back at him. Here we go, the McLaren driver looking to the inside of the Ferrari. He's going to go for the lunge into turn 1. He makes the move on Tom Roberts. Finley into P3, and look at the clock. He is only 9/10 behind the top 2. He's back in DRS range, if only briefly. Does he have DRS? No. Yes, he does actually, down to turn 4, but Tom Roberts gets cleanly past him, and Finley back down to 4th. The gap 5 seconds to Clammo right now. It's 2 seconds in it in terms of who's going to win this championship. At the moment, it's Finley, but that 3-second penalty, who knows? If there's a safety car later on, it could come back to bite him as those top 2 continue to be close together. on, sorry about that. Back to it now as we've got yellow flags in Sector 2. That is Valwood who's gone round, but crucially no safety car as Stephen Vasso, his teammate for today, retakes the lead of this race from Lewis Jones. Tom Roberts is back in DRS range, as is Finley. Clemo 6.5 seconds behind. That gap has only grown. The German driver, the championship leader, is doing everything he can, but it's not enough at the moment. He is far too far back. And Speed asking in the chat, if Finley finishes 4th and Clemo finishes 5th, who wins? Finley wins on countback Speed. They would be level on points, but Finley has 2 wins this season. Clemo only has 1. So it would be all down to countback as Valwood retires in the pit lane. No safety car, nothing coming to Clemo's rescue. Are we going to have late drama in this championship finale? Or is it all going to be a procession to the end of this race? Finley down the inside of Tom Roberts retakes P3. The top 2 swap again as well. And these 4 continue in their DRS train that they started this race with. And once again, Vasso and Jones swapping down to turn 4. Clemo 7.5 behind. He needs a miracle. He needs something to happen in these last 6 laps. He needs a safety car. He needs Finley to bin it or contact between those top 4. All he can do is drive his race and hope for some kind of late drama to come his way. But at the moment, it's not enough. Finley, he does have that 3-second penalty. If there is a safety car, then Clemo is going to be in a brilliant position. And sorry, that's Valwood off at turn 4. I thought that was someone who crashed, but no, that was just Valwood's AI car driving off the circuit. But at the moment, no one causing any kind of crashes or safety cars or anything. It's Jacko right behind Mahmood for P9. It's Stephen Vasso, though, who retakes the lead. Lewis Jones just behind, and Finley is right there as well. Still in the procession, still doing enough, as now he's on the warpath on Lewis Jones. Like I said, he wants to win this in style, but with that time penalty, I think he's going to be P4 at best anyway. And he stays down there in 3rd for now. Up the hill they go, but not close enough. Finley has to stay behind. Is there going to be another dive bomb from the McLaren driver? He's right behind that Haas. There is another dive bomb. He goes for it into turn 6. Can he make the move stick? They're still side by side through 7, surely through 8 as well. Here they go. Finley on the inside for the next corner. They bang wheels several times, but Finley loses the rear end on the exit. He's just about fine though. That could have been a disaster for Finley if he hadn't caught the car there. That could have been the end of his championship hopes, but he stays there. He's just about in the DRS still, and that is all he needs to do. Clemo 7.5 seconds behind. He's doing everything he can, but they're just too quick for him in this race. Lap 32 of 36. Lewis Jones gets passed by Tom Roberts into turn 1 as they file their way all the way through Sector 1 for the 32nd time out of 36. Finley is racing like he's not fighting for a championship, says Speed. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He is driving like sort of a reserve driver who's trying to make a first impression, not someone who desperately needs to stay where he is to win the title. But he is racing his own way. He doesn't want to just win it without any drama, it seems. He wants to give it everything he can, not only to win the championship, but also beat all these other drivers who he's been racing with all 32 laps so far. We're running out of time for a safety car. There's only a few laps left. If we tick onto lap 34, it will be too late, as Zoctuus gets himself another time penalty further back. As these top 4 continue to go for it, Finley to the inside, he looks for it, he looks to the outside, he brakes late, there's contact into turn 1, Tom Roberts is round, but Finley crucially sticks with them. Tom Roberts now out of that 1 second range, but only just. He still should be able to stick with those top 3, and Finley's up to 2nd place with that amazing move. Risky move, but he went for it, and he's up into P2. It's Clemo 7 seconds behind. He's way too far back. Still needs some kind of late drama, but it's just not happening. Finley is staying where he is. There's no safety car in sight. And there's only half a lap for one to come. No one looks like they're in any danger. The two Williams swapping it down to turn one, but there's no collisions, there's no mistakes happening. I don't think we're going to get a safety car. They're heading to the last corner. Stephen Vasso in the lead. Finley locks the rears but gets away with it. And they head towards the line. And we are officially out of time for a late safety car in this race. So now Clemo just has to pray that some kind of collision, some kind of horrendous crash, bad luck happens to Finley in this top four battle in this race in these last 3 laps. But I think time might well be up for the German driver who has driven like so well this year. So much improvement from Clemo. He's the reigning Enduro Championship champion in ESRL. He's going to try and defend that in a few weeks' time, I'm sure. But he's fought so hard this season for the Division 1 title. At one point it looked like it was a foregone conclusion for the German, but that missed race a few weeks ago has really looked like it's end up costing him. As Speed says in the chat, Stephen Vasso continues to lead. 2 laps to go at the end of this one. 2 laps between Finley and a maiden ESRL title to make it 3 drivers' titles in just over a week. For the McLaren driver, 2 from APPF1. It could be 1 from ESRL. He's got the DRS. He pulls to the inside of Stephen Vasso. And but Lewis Jones goes for it. They're 3 wide into turn 1. Finley backs out. He knows that the time is coming now. Just 2 laps to go. He doesn't want to take too many unnecessary risks. Even with all the risk he's been taking this race, he comes to blows with Lewis Jones down the straight. Could have taken him out there, but nothing happens. They just about get away with it. Finley wants to win it on track, says Speed. It certainly looks like it. He's going side by side up the hill with Lewis Jones. He has to back out for turn 5. They continue to go for it. Stephen Vasso lunges to the inside of the McLaren. He has to stay behind those still as they head through this middle sector. Clemo's 7.5 behind. He's gaining some time thanks to all of this, but it's nowhere near enough. Finley goes off the road. Stephen Vasso battles with him. They're side by side through the last few corners, but Finley stays ahead and they continue to go single file. No, they don't. Tom Roberts pushes Stephen Vasso off at the final corner. It was a big lunge from the Ferrari driver for P3. He made it stick, but he pushed Vasso off. I don't think the Sauber driver will be too happy about that. And Finley heads on to the final lap. He's just 1 minute away from the ESRL title. Clemo is 6 seconds behind. He's nowhere near close enough. And Finley now, he's got the DRS on Lewis Jones down to turn 4. Is he going to lunge? Oh my goodness, he is lunging into turn 4. He goes deep, he loses the position again, but Finley really wants to win this on track. He wants to win this title in style. Lewis Jones leading the way, but Finley is giving it absolutely everything. He feels like the job is already done as Stephen Vasso and Tom Roberts just behind them, but Finley now, he's got no other cars. It's just Lewis Jones to battle with now. Doesn't lose the rears out of turn 10. He's got the speed through turn 11 as well as they head down to the final braking zone. Oh, he nearly lost it. He nearly lost the rears out the final corner, but he's gotten away with it, and it's gonna be job done. Lewis Jones is going to win the Brazilian Grand Prix, but CPI Finley is your ESRL Season 8 Division 1 champion on countback. Clemo finishes P5, but Finley is going to finish level on points, and that will mean, thanks to his 2 wins to Clemo's 1 this season, Finley will take the title. What a season, what a finale. It was a shame that Clemo couldn't battle and be closer at the end, but Finley just too strong for him in the end today, and that was the difference. CPI Finley wins the Season 8 title. from Clemo, who is going to be absolutely gutted. But what a season he's put on. What a performance from him all season long. And, well, it's devastating to lose a title on countback. But what a season from Clemo. He should be nothing but proud of himself for how he has conducted this season. He has had some truly awesome moments this season, and he can take those back with him all the way. But in the end, Finley just proved a step, slightly, not even a step, barely half a step too far. So there we have it. Lewis Jones wins the Brazilian Grand Prix, the finale in ESRL Season 8. Tom Roberts finishes in P2 with Stephen Vasso in third place with the fastest lap. CPI Finley finishes in fourth, winning the title with Clemo in P5. Finley will take it by just count back, not even any points at all. Johnny Stokes finishes a strong P6. Zoxius a very strong P7. He did everything he could as well to try and help out his teammate, but it wasn't quite enough. Scott a strong P8. He'll be happy with that. The two Williams 9th and 10th round out the rest, with Mahmood missing out by 4/10 on the points in the end. Trunkster, Tark and Gino are the last of the finishers, with Valwood and Robin Brain not classified in the end. But I do apologise to those towards the rear end of the grid, because there was some great battles going on there, I'm sure. I just didn't have the time to find them and put them in the spotlight because of the championship situation. But nonetheless, great battles, great race from everyone. Congratulations to Finley, and huge commiserations to Clemo. Like Speed says, Clemo can be absolutely proud of himself. He did incredibly well this season to keep up with drivers you would have never expected him to. And what a championship it was from both drivers. But in the end, that one extra win carries Finley to the title. What a dramatic conclusion in terms of the point situation. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to all the chat who kept up with the race. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you to Scott for organising the league all season. And thank you to all our drivers as well. So we will be back for more ESRL on F1 25. I think there's an Enduro Championship happening before then as well. If so, I will likely be competing in that. So keep an eye out for that on my F1 Twitch channel if you're interested in watching my POV. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. Congratulations to Finley and commiserations to Clemo, and have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all next time for more ESRL. Goodbye.